Wistoria, Wand and Sword, Season 2, Episode 4, titled And the Story Begins, was pretty good actually. This episode was filled with revelations and a ton of lore drops, but it did have its flaws, which we'll get to later. The episode begins revealing who I assume to be Will's mother or distant relative. Apparently, she's known as the Mage Queen. It seems Will may not be from the known world and could have been born beyond the barrier of magic, but we've yet to get a confirmation on this. We learn that Finn has made a pact with the Mage Queen to join Wand and Sword to protect the state of the world. We also learn this episode the meaning of Wis. It's the rare fifth element of Wistoria's magical world, with Will being the only current user. Wistoria, Wand and Sword's magical elements consist of basic earth, wind/fairy, fire, and ice. There are only a few aberrations to this, including the headmistress of the Magic Academy, and Claire, who can use multiple elements known as Moltos. Now we can add Will to this list as the world's only Wish user. Even though Will has literally been saving mages this entire series, he finally received his flowers from the world of magic during the fight with the Devander. It's always a great moment in anime when the theme song plays during a fight in the middle of the episode. This has to be one of the most iconic shonen tropes. The Magiavander were sitting up in their seats starstruck, which had to be a humbling experience. But Zion was impressed, which I appreciated. Will literally goes toe-to-toe with basically the world destroyer by magical standards, especially considering the Devander is equipped with a Mage Slayer sword. Only someone without conventional magic could defeat it. Professor Snape has to be eating his words right now because obviously the world of magic does have use for someone without it. After an endured battle with the Devander, Will's sword snaps, unable to handle the sheer power of his strikes. WillFaria, as defiant as ever, decides now's her time. Elfie is such a badass, her hand slips and creates one of the most iconic power of friendship/love moments in anime. With WillFaria and Will's powers combined, it was a wrap for the powers of darkness. The thing about this battle that intrigues me the most is just how strong is Elfie. If we don't get to see her solo a boss fight at some point in the series, I'll honestly be disappointed. The mass scale of Will's overload full burst attack was just insane. Bro really unleashed the Bankai. Forget about the magic, Will unlock the whole domain expansion. After that attack, we might just have to add him to the power scaling discussions. No, but seriously, that attack was completely broken. One of the funnier parts of the episode was Xian breaking down crying. That actually took me out. Bro went from enemy to rival to full-on fanboy over the course of a few episodes. Another question I'm left with after the episode was done is just how strong is Finn? As the vessel of the Mage Queen's will, get it? Her will, pun totally intended. One could only imagine he's strong as hell too. Apparently Finn has been working at this goal for 500 years, leaving me to assume the baby in the beginning of the episode may not have been Will, but one of his ancestors, or something of the sort. And the story begins with such a fitting title, because it really feels like we were watching Wistoria, Wand and Sword's prologue this whole time. All the talk of celestial hosts and doomsday revelations really makes me want to read the manga, but I do really appreciate being an anime only for some series. As much as I liked this episode, I wasn't impressed with the stalling tactics. On more than one occasion, this episode reused previous scenes from the last episode and even some from earlier in the episode. Also, the animation for the first half of the Devander fight just seemed lower quality than what we're used to from Wistoria, Wand and Sword. It's pretty obvious the studio was trying really hard to pace the episode to conclude the arc so that the next episode would be entirely one of exposition. It doesn't really affect my rating that much, but it does take this episode from an easy 9 to something like an 8.8. Even though Will was the centerpiece of this episode, I always feel like Elfie carries with her appearances. It seems like from the next episode preview that we will likely not be getting Rosti back. I wonder if Elfie will ever tell Will that Rosti was an ice clone, because letting him mourn her clone for the rest of the series would be toxic. It seems like having saved the world would actually give Will enough points to climb the tower with the rest of the squad, thankfully. It's crazy to think we have 8 more episodes left before the end of the season. I'm really looking forward to the big bad reveal of Wand and Sword. I always appreciate when it goes 2 seasons of an anime before you even figure out who the real antagonist is. I'm also excited to learn more about Mercedes, the Mage Queen. One of my favorite aspects of Wand and Sword is the world building. I'm in high anticipation to learn more about Will's origin story as well as the history of the Albus-Vina family. If you can't tell, WillFaria is my favorite character, even though she has minimal screen time. It's funny because Noelle's actually my favorite character in Black Clover as well. There's just something about these water attribute mages. I have seen a few posts hating on this episode and the series as a whole. They were calling it a cringe fest and complaining about everyone glazing WillFaria and Will. And my response to this is, then go watch something else. The hate watching trend is just starting to get played out. And to an extent, all shonen should be cringe to adults, but some of us still enjoy the inspiration of an underdog story. If you enjoy shonen, then Wand and Sword is a great anime. If you've already watched all of season 1, then there must be something you like about the series. Otherwise, I really don't understand why you're still watching it. I'm one of those people who try to be completely unbiased with my anime reviews. One could even say I'm more critical of shows I actually like. One thing I won't tolerate is people who bash others' anime interests. If you ask me, that's the most cringe aspect of the community. Wistoria Wand and Sword is finally gaining the hype it deserves. Let's just sit back and enjoy the show, and reserve all criticisms for the finished product. If you enjoyed this episode review, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I'm in an experimental phase at the moment, so I have a lot of video content on the way. I hope you all stick around for our evolution. You're watching New Classic Anime, and I hope you're enjoying your day. Peace.